Hello everyone, this is Meenakshi Dilip Birari, working as assistant professor in chemistry at Maratha Vidya Prasarak Samaj, Nasik. Since from last few lectures, we were discussing about petrochemicals and eco-friendly fuels. This is once again from the same. We know that major petrochemicals are used as a fuel. Fuels are naturally occurring or manufactured combustible organic substances which acts as a heat energy or as a raw material for the chemical industry. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss properties of fuel and cracking chemistry. According to the modern definition, a fuel is any fissionable material which produces energy in a form that can be used for producing power. For example, electrical energy when used as a source of heat is also called fuel. Nuclear energy may also be used as a source of heat. So, any source of heat energy is called as a fuel. It is now well established fact that it is not necessary for a fuel to undergo combustion or oxidation. A good fuel should possess the various properties like it should have high calorific value, should have moderate ignition temperature. A good fuel should have moderate velocity of combustion. Also, the gaseous products of combustion of fuel, it should not pollute the atmosphere and should not be harmful or poisons for human lives. A good fuel is easy to handle, store and transport, and also a fuel should be readily available in bulk at low cost. So these are the properties of a good fuel. Already in previous lecture we have discussed all the properties of a good fuel. Now what should be the criteria for selecting a fuel? So following factors are of prime importance while selecting a fuel for a particular purpose. The fuel must have reasonably high velocity of combustion. It should have high calorific value. It must have proper ignition temperature. It must have low percent of non-combustible matter. It must have low cost. It must be available in sufficient quantity. It must be easy for transport. So, calorific value should be high, moisture content should be low, ash content should be low. That means the percentage of non-combustible matter should be low. Sulfur, phosphorus content of coal should be low. Size of coal, it should be uniform. So, these are the factors which are of prime importance while selecting a fuel for a particular purpose. So, we can say these are the different things for selecting a fuel. In previous lecture, we have studied a properties of a good fuel. Now, let us see other properties of fuel. Each fuel has a definite ignition temperature value. So, what is ignition temperature? The temperature at which fuel catches fire and continues to burn without further heat, called as a ignition temperature. So, each fuel has definite ignition temperature value. The ignition temperature is influenced by number of factors such as nature of fuel, combustion environment, presence of moisture, size and shape of the experimental vessel, particle size and presence of foreign material, etc. So, the value of ignition temperature decreases due to the presence of moisture and foreign material. Ignition temperature, it is defined as the temperature at which fuel catches fire and continues to burn without further heat. Second property, that is flash point. Flash point, it is the property of a liquid fuel like gasoline, petrol, kerosene, alcohol, etc. Flash point, it is defined as the minimum temperature at which a sample of a fuel gives off enough vapor that catches fire but does not continue to burn in presence of air by naked flame or electric discharge. So the minimum temperature at which a sample of a fuel oil gives off enough vapor that catches fire but does not continue to burn in presence of air by a naked flame or electric charge. Here in ignition temperature, it catches fire and continues to burn without further heat. But in flash point, the minimum temperature at which a sample of fuel oil gives off enough vapor that catches fire but does not continue to burn in presence of air. The flash point also depends on different factors. These are nothing but the vapor pressure of the oil and the way which is determined. Flash point is also inversely proportional to the volatility of the oil. Kerosene and gasoline have flash point value of 70 degree Fahrenheit and 45 degree Fahrenheit respectively. Then next one, fire point. The temperature at which oil vapors will catch fire and continue to burn. Both flash point and fire point are used to detect dissolved impurities much more volatile than the bulk of the oil. Next one, Koch number. It is defined as the amount of carbon deposited by a wet sample of oil in a standard apparatus under a standard set of experimental conditions. Better grade lubricating oils have lower Koch number. Different lubricating oils are used in the moving parts of an internal combustion engine. These oils produces free carbon on thermal decomposition in varying amount. The oils producing free carbon in lower amounts are better. The ability of oil to produce free carbon on thermal decomposition is given by Koch number. So, it is defined as the amount of carbon deposited by a wet sample of oil in a standard apparatus under a standard set of experimental conditions is called the Koch number. Better grade lubricating oils are those which have lower Koch number. Then viscosity. The number of seconds required for 60 cc of the oil to run through a standard orifice from a cylinder filled to a definite level at a standard temperature. Viscosity is the property of lubricating oils. It is expressed in centipoise. In USA, SUV, that is Seabolt Universal Viscosity, is generally employed in petroleum industry, and it is expressed as the number of seconds required for 60 cc of the oil to run through a standard orifice from a cylinder filled to a definite level at a standard temperature. So we should remember viscosity is the property of lubricating oils. So these are the properties of fuel: ignition temperature, flash point, fire point, Koch number and viscosity. Now let us see the cracking chemistry, cracking of petroleum, that is pyrolysis. In petroleum geology and chemistry, cracking is the process whereby complex organic molecules such as kerogens or heavy hydrocarbons are broken down into simplest molecules such as light hydrocarbons by the breaking of carbon-carbon single bonds in the precursors. The rate of cracking and the end products are strongly dependent on the temperature and pressure of catalyst. So the cracking is breakdown of a large alkane into smaller, more useful alkanes and alkenes. Cracking is breakdown of a large alkane into smaller, more useful alkanes and alkenes. The term cracking is used in petroleum chemistry to describe Any type of splitting of molecules under the influence of heat, catalyst and solvents, such as in process of destructive distillation or pyrolysis. This term cracking is used in petroleum chemistry to describe any type of splitting of molecules. Cracking is classified into two groups. First one, that is fluid catalytic cracking, and second, hydrocracking. Fluid catalytic cracking produces high yield of gasoline and LPG, while hydrocracking is a major source of jet fuel, diesel, naphtha, and also yields LPG. So cracking is classified into two groups, fluid catalytic cracking and second one, hydrocracking. Let us see cracking chemistry. A large number of chemical reactions take place during the cracking process, most of based on free radicals. Computer simulations aimed at modeling what take place during steam cracking have included even thousands of reactions in their models. So any type of splitting of molecules under the influence of heat, catalyst and solvents, such as in process of destructive distillation or pyrolysis, that will be explained by cracking chemistry. So the reactions which occurs in cracking process, these are based on free radicals. So what are the steps involved in free radical cracking reactions? So let us see the various steps involved in cracking process. First one, initiation. In these reactions, a single molecule breaks apart into two free radicals. So there is the starting material ethane that give the formation of free radical, methyl free radical. Two methyl free radical are formed by using single molecule ethane. So that is initiation. Second one, hydrogen abstraction. In these reactions, a free radical removes hydrogen atom from another molecule, turning second molecule into free radical. So when we observe this methyl free radical, it reacts with ethane, then it absorbs one of the hydrogen, and then there is the formation of new free radical, ethyl free radical. So we get the formation of methane and CH3CH2 free radical. This one is ethyl free radical. So in these reactions, a free radical removes hydrogen atom from another molecule. So this free radical removes one hydrogen from ethane and formation of a new free radical, that is ethyl free radical. Next one, radical addition. In these reactions, a radical reacts with an alkene to form a single large free molecule. These processes are involved in forming the aromatic products that results when heavier feedstocks are used. So what is the radical addition step? In these reactions, a radical reacts with an alkene. So this one is a free radical, ethyl free radical, reacts with alkene and formation of a single large free radical, free molecule. So this one is nothing but formation of a new free radical, radical addition reaction. So these processes are involved in forming the aromatic products that results when heavier feedstocks are used. Next one, termination. In this reaction, two free radicals react with each other to produce products that are not free radicals. Two common forms of termination are recombination and disproportionation, where one radical transfers a hydrogen atom to the other, giving an alkene and alkane. So disproportionation gives the formation of alkene and alkane, whereas recombination, when the two radicals combine to form one larger molecule known as recombination. So termination, it is of two types. One is recombination. The two free radicals combine to form one larger molecule, that is recombination. And the second, disproportionation, where one radical transfers a hydrogen atom to the other, giving an alkene and alkane. Ethylene and ethane, formation of ethylene and ethane. So a large number of chemical reactions which take place during the cracking process, most of based on the free radicals. So in free radical cracking reactions, these are four important steps: initiation, hydrogen abstraction, radical addition and termination. Termination are of two forms. One is recombination and disproportionation. Cracking methodologies. It is of two types, methods of cracking. One is thermal cracking and second one is catalytic cracking. Thermal cracking is also classified into two groups: liquid phase thermal cracking and vapor phase thermal cracking. Catalytic cracking are of two types, fixed bed cracking and second one fluidized moving bed catalytic cracking, that is FCC. Let us see in detail. Thermal methods. Thermal cracking was first category of hydrocarbon cracking to be developed. Thermal cracking is an example of reaction whose energetics are dominated by entropy rather than by enthalpy in the Gibbs free energy equation. Although the bond dissociation energy D for a carbon-carbon single bond is relatively high, that is 375 kJ per mole, and cracking is highly endothermic, the large positive energy change resulting from the fragmentation of one large molecule into several smaller pieces, together with the extremely high temperature, it makes T delta S term larger than the delta H term, thereby forming the cracking reaction. So homolytic fusion reaction take place in a thermal cracking. So the thermal cracking, the actual reaction is known as homolytic fusion, and products alkenes, which are the basis for economically important production of polymers. So thermal cracking is the example of reactions whose energetics are dominated by entropy rather than by enthalpy. Second one, steam cracking. It is the principal industrial method which is used to prepare lighter alkenes. Steam is used for pyrolysis. Higher temperature favors to produce ethane and benzene, while lower temperature produces propene and C4 derivatives. Steam cracking is a petrochemical process in which saturated hydrocarbons are broken down into smaller, often unsaturated hydrocarbons. So, it is the principal industrial method for producing the lighter alkenes, commonly olefins, including ethene and propene. Steam cracker units are facilities in which feedstock such as naphtha, liquefied petroleum gas LPG, ethane, propane or butane is thermally cracked through the use of steam in a bank of pyrolysis furnaces to produce lighter hydrocarbons. The products obtained depend on the composition of the feed, the hydrocarbon to steam ratios, and on the cracking temperature and furnace residence time. So higher temperature favors to produce ethane and benzene, while lower temperature it produces propene and C4 derivatives. The products produced in the reaction depends on the composition of the feed, the hydrocarbon to steam ratios, and on the cracking temperature and furnace residue time. Light hydrocarbon feed such as ethane, LPGs or light naphtha gives the product steam rich in lighter alkenes, and higher hydrocarbon feed gives some of these but also gives the product rich in aromatic hydrocarbons. Then catalytic methods. The catalytic cracking process involves the presence of acid catalyst, usually solid acids such as silica, alumina and zeolites, which promotes heterolytic fission, that is asymmetrical breaking of bonds, which yields pairs of ions of opposite charges. So there are two important catalytic cracking methods. One is fluid catalytic cracking and second one is hydrocracking. So first of all we can see fluid catalytic cracking, FCC. Low activity alumina catalyst particles were suspended in rising flow of hydrocarbons. Cracking takes place using very active zeolites based catalyst in short contact time vertical pipe called riser. So fluid catalytic cracking, FCC, is commonly used process, and a modern oil refinery will typically include a cat cracker, particularly at refineries in the US due to high demand for gasoline. The process was first used around 1942 and employs a powered catalyst during Second World War. In the FCC, preheated feed is sprayed via nozzles where it contacts extremely hot catalyst at temperature 666 to 760 degrees Celsius. The catalyst vaporized the fluid and break down into lighter compounds like LPG, gasoline and diesel. The catalyst hydrocarbon mixture separated via cyclones, then the mixture of hydrocarbon separated in distillation column. So this figure shows a schematic flow diagram of a fluid catalytic cracker. So here initial process were based on low activity alumina catalyst and reactor where the catalyst particles were suspended in a rising flow of feed hydrocarbon in fluidized bed. In newer designs, cracking takes place using very active zeolite based catalyst in a short contact time, vertical or upward shaped pipe called the riser. So here cracking takes place using very active zeolite based catalyst in a short contact time, vertical or upward shaped pipe. This one is called as a riser. Preheated feed is spread into the base of the riser via feed nozzles where it extremely hot fluidized catalyst where it comes in contact with this extremely hot fluidized catalyst at 666 to 760 degrees Celsius. The hot catalyst vaporizes feed and catalyzes the cracking reactions that break down the higher molecular weight oil into lighter compounds that may include LPG, gasoline and diesel. The catalyst hydrocarbon mixture flows upward through the riser for a few seconds and then the mixture is separated via cyclones. So these are the cyclones where the mixture is separated. The catalyst free hydrocarbons are routed to a main fractionator for separation into flue gas. So this one is the distillation column where the hydrocarbons are routed to a main fractionator for separation into fuel gas like LPG, gasoline, naphtha. So it is the schematic flow diagram of a fluid catalytic cracker. Now the next one, that is hydrocracking. Hydrocracking is catalytic cracking process associated by the presence of added hydrogen gas. Unlike a hydrotreater where hydrogen is used to cleave or to break carbon, sulfur and carbon nitrogen bonds, hydrocracking uses hydrogen to break carbon-carbon single bonds. That is, hydro means a treatment is conducted prior to hydrocracking to protect the catalyst in hydrocracking. The products of this process are saturated hydrocarbons depending on the reaction conditions, which ranges from ethane, LPG to higher hydrocarbon, LPG, and also the higher hydrocarbons that will be obtained by using hydrocracking. Biofunctional catalyst is used which can break carbon-carbon single bond and add hydrogen. So hydrocracking is normally facilitated by a bifunctional catalyst that is capable of rearranging and breaking hydrocarbon chains as well as adding hydrogen to aromatics and olefins to produce naphthalene and alkanes. The major products from hydrocracking are jet fuel and diesel, but low sulfur naphtha fractions and LPG are also produced. Hydrocracking, it is very common in Europe and Asia because those regions have high demand for diesel and kerosene. Now, what are the functions of hydrogen in hydrocracking? Hydrogen in hydrocracking is useful to prevent the formation of polycyclic compounds, to reduce tar formation. It reduces impurities, prevent buildup of coke on catalyst. High Cetane number fuel is achieved. It converts sulfur and nitrogen compounds present in the feedstock to hydrogen sulfide and ammonia. So hydrocracking is catalytic cracking which is associated with presence of added hydrogen. Unlike hydrotreater where the hydrogen gas is used to break carbon, sulfur and carbon nitrogen bond, in hydrocracking hydrogen gas is used to break carbon-carbon single bond. So the hydrogen in hydrocracking is useful in preventing the formation of polycyclic aromatic compounds if feedstock has high paraffinic content. Also it reduces tar formation, it reduces impurities. High Cetane number fuel is also achieved by using this process, and it converts sulfur and nitrogen compounds present in the feedstock to hydrogen sulfide and ammonia. So these are functions of hydrogen in hydrocracking. Now octane number or also octane rating of a fuel. So what is octane rating or octane number? Octane number is a standard measure of the performance of engine. Use of petrol with lower octane number may lead to the problem of engine knocking. Ager in 1972 observed that straight chain alkanes knock badly but branch chain alkanes knock very less. Thus, the relative anti-knock tendency of a fuel is generally indicated by its octane number. So, the efficiency of fuel is rated by giving its certain octane numbers. Octane number, it is an index of knocking of a gasoline in the internal combustion engine. The octane number of isooctane or 2,2,4 trimethylpentane is 100 and that of N-heptane is 0. The octane rating is a measure of the resistance of petrol to engine knocking. Some vehicles require a high octane fuel and many vehicles require lower octane rating fuel. Many vehicles less than 10 years old can run on lower octane rating fuel safely but get better economy and power from higher octane fuels. So, the octane number is a measure of the knocking properties of a fuel. In other words, it is a measure of how difficult it is for the fuel to self-ignite before the spark plug fires. A high octane number indicates a higher self-ignition temperature, meaning that this fuel will withstand higher compression ratios before self-igniting. Octane number, it is determined by measuring the knocking value of the fuel compared to that of a mixture of N-heptane and isooctane. So the octane number of isooctane is 100 and the N-heptane having the octane number 0. So it is between 0 and 100, where the octane number is 90 is for the same knocking properties as 90% isooctane and 10% N-heptane mixture. The pump octane number is the one which is used by consumers and it is the average between the two. The octane number can be improved by using additives to gasoline such as tetraethyl lead, that is called TEL, and lead chlorides and oxygenates. Also MTBE, that is methyl tertiary butyl ether, which will be discussed later. You should remember that the knocking anti-knock additives like tetraethyl lead, lead chlorides and oxygenates, these are useful, which improves the octane number. If the use of additives improve the ignition properties beyond pure isooctane, the octane number will be higher than 100. There are two types of octane number. The motor octane number, which is at 900 rpm at severe conditions, while the research octane number is at normal conditions, that is 600 rpm. The second is usually higher due to the higher efficiency of engine at lower rpm. So the octane number can be measured by comparison of the ignition property of the fuel with that of pure isooctane with different tail additives. So the typical anti-knock agents which are used these are tetraethyl lead, TEL, and also ferrocene, iron pentacarbonyl, toluene, isooctane, like that, or using the performance number, which is the ratio of the knock limited power of the fuel to that of pure isooctane. Then this ratio converted to octane number by a simple equation. So the different methods are there. By using that we can improve the octane number and also the knocking property of engine. So octane number, it is an index of knocking of a gasoline in the internal combustion engine, and the octane rating, it is a measure of the resistance of petrol to engine knocking. Engine knocking can damage the engine quite quickly, so that some vehicles require high octane fuel and many vehicles less than 10 years old can run on lower octane rating fuel safely but get better economy and power from higher octane fuel. The octane number is measured in a test engine and is defined by comparison with the mixture of 2,2,4 trimethyl pentane, that is isooctane, and heptane, which would have the same anti-knocking capacity as the fuel under test. Then C10 number. C10 number, Cn, is an indicator of the combustion speed of diesel fuel. It is an inverse of the similar octane rating for gasoline. The Cn is an important factor in determining the quality of diesel fuel, but not only one. Other measurements of diesel's quality include energy content, density, lubricity, cold flow properties and sulfur content. So what is Ceten number? Ceten number Cn is an inverse function of a fuel ignition delay and the time period between the start of injection and the first identifiable pressure increase during combustion of the fuel. The Ceten number is the ease of self-ignition of a diesel fuel and can be considered as the opposite of the octane number, where high Ceten number means easier self-ignition at lower temperature. This is desired in diesel engines as these do not have spark plugs, so self-ignition is desired. So in a particular diesel engine, higher Ceten fuels will have shorter ignition delay periods than lower Ceten fuels. Ceten numbers are only used for relatively light distillate diesel oils. It is represented by the percentage of pure cetane in a mixture of cetane and alpha methyl naphthalene that has the same knocking properties, that is ignition quality of the fuel. The knocking properties in both the cetane and octane number are measured in a special test engine which has a single cylinder, a multi-bowl carburetor for different mixtures of a fuel and a pressure gauge to measure the intensity of the knock. Therefore, higher cetane fuel usually causes an engine to run more smoothly and quietly. So, the Ceten number Cn is a measurement of the combustion quality of diesel fuel during compression ignition. It is a significant expression of diesel fuel quality among a number of other measurements that determine overall diesel fuel quality. Flash point. The flash point of a volatile material is the lowest temperature at which it can vaporize to form an ignitable mixture in air. So flash point is the lowest temperature at which a chemical can vaporize to form an ignitable mixture in air. Measuring a flash point requires an ignition source. At the flash point, the vapor may cease to burn when the ignition source is removed. A lower flash point indicates higher flammability. Measuring a flash point requires an ignition source. The flash point is a descriptive characteristic that is used to distinguish flammable liquids such as liquid fuel from combustible liquids. It is also used to detect the fire hazards of liquids. Examples: liquids which have flash point less than 37.8 or 60.5 degrees Celsius, depending on the standard that is used, are called flammable, whereas liquids having a flash point above that temperature are called combustible. So when the temperature it is in between 37.8 or 60.5 degrees Celsius, the liquids which have flash point less than 37.8, 60.5 known as flammable, whereas liquids having a flash point above that temperature are called combustible. The flash point of flammable liquid is the lowest temperature at which there will be enough flammable vapor to ignite when an ignition source is applied. So, at the flash point, the vapor may cease to burn when the ignition source is removed. So, it is mainly used to distinguish flammable liquids from combustible liquids and non-flammable liquids. So, these are few examples of some fuels. Flash point of ethanol. 70% ethanol having 60.6 degrees Celsius, gasoline, petrol minus 43 degrees Celsius, diesel having flash point greater than 52 degrees Celsius, biodiesel, vegetable oil and kerosene. So biodiesel having more than 130 degrees Celsius flash point. So already I have explained that the liquids on the standards that is used, the flash point less than 37.8 or 60.5 degrees Celsius are called flammable, whereas liquids having a flash point above the temperature are called combustible. So the flash point of a volatile material is the lowest temperature at which it can vaporize to form an ignitable mixture in air. So in today's lecture we have studied different properties of fuel like ignition temperature, flash point, fire point, Koch number, C10 number, octane number, like that, and also cracking chemistry or cracking methodologies in detail. Thank you.